Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us at the Change Life Destiny show, where we showcase the latest and most amazing technologies changing healthcare in America. So today we're with Philipp von Holtzendorff, and we're going to learn about some amazing technologies. Welcome to the show, Philipp.
Thanks for having me on. It's an honor.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, Philipp, how you got into the health and wellness industry.
Yeah, it was really my life story in a way. So I think really my passion was found within me because of my wife's chronic Lyme disease. She was diagnosed with chronic Lyme disease in, I think it was 2009 or 10. And when they diagnosed it, they said it was already for 5 years that she had it. And then they also said you can't heal it. And I said, well, no, we're not going to take that. And I was basically from that moment on always searching for the latest new stuff, the best new supplements, holistic approaches, biohacking, bioenergy hacking, frankly. And all that culminated then in us launching a carbon 60 supplement company, which is a smaller company, and I don't spend much time with it anymore because, you know, the next evolution really was the quantum technology, where we work with quantum tech and frequency medicine. And I'm happy to get into that, of course. My background really is in corporate. I was for many, many years an executive in Europe, in corporate Europe, and in corporate US as well. I was the vice president at T-Mobile, responsible for 14 countries, but also here at T-Mobile US. So I know the EMF side quite well from that side, and I know it from the other side too.
So Philipp, you have this amazing company, Leela, and some amazing technologies. Tell us how these technologies are helping people and how practitioners are using them.
Yeah, so it's indeed a cutting edge technology because we were able to really concentrate and harness a pure quantum energy field in a way that it hasn't been done before, at least not with any public knowledge about it. And that very pure quantum energy is the same energy that we have in each of our cells. So it's nothing unnatural or artificial. It actually could not be more natural. And that is the reason why it's so harmonious with the human cells, but frankly also with any living organism. You know, it's beneficial for plants and for pets and other animals. And there are various aspects of how it can help and benefit. So it's hard to just summarize it all in one sentence. So there's really different aspects. So at core, you know, it really harmonizes destructive and harmful frequencies on an energetic level. That's at core what the technology does or is capable of. And so what are harmful frequencies? As an example, it would be EMF, right? EMF, electromagnetic fields, 5G, 4G, Wi-Fi, they have a lot of benefits because they add convenience to our lives, right? But at the same time, they add stress to our bodies, and physically you can, in the short term, measure quite detrimental effects, and you can certainly measure that over the long term as well. So it harmonizes and neutralizes EMFs, even in a very, very large radius. So that's just one application of it, right? And then there are frankly other frequencies that we don't really talk about much. EMF is the, you know, we're most aware of the EMF. But it harmonizes other frequencies as well. So for example, it has been reported many, many times by now by different customers that if they charge foods that they're allergic to in our blocks, that then they don't have an allergic reaction. Disclaimer for this part, we'll go into some other studies where we can really make claims, but in regards to the food allergies, we don't want to make a claim yet, and we don't want to recommend it. So we say, please do not try that at home, but I still want to talk about it because it's quite fascinating. So when we found that out and heard it from multiple people, there was this biohacker Todd who has a large following. He's allergic to 3 different things: avocado, crab meat, and honey. And each time he charged these substances in the block, he could tolerate them with no allergic reaction. And then he thought first the allergy was gone completely, but then if he ate them without charging them, he had an allergic reaction. So we demonstrated that live on stage at the biohacking conference by Dave Asprey in front of over 100 people, where they put crab meat in his left arm and they saw an instant allergic reaction. People could come up and see, the allergic reaction. The same crab meat they put in our block for 6 minutes and then put it in his other arm, no allergic reaction. So there's a couple of studies right now going on in a functional medicine clinic in Munich in Germany to actually get deeper into that. And so far they've found a 65 to 95% reduction in allergy response, no matter which substance we're talking about, which includes gluten and lactose as 2 examples, which is quite fascinating. But again, don't try this. That shows a little bit what it does on a frequency level, because there are destructive interference patterns that come from the waveforms from these substances. And if you can harmonize these, then they're not destructive anymore. And so you can suddenly tolerate these things. The same with EMF. That in a nutshell is what it is, but there's way more that you can do with the tech.
So, Philipp, how does this work in real life? Is this something people wear? Is it something you have in the home, in the office? Are there different sizes and variations? How do people actually use this in their daily life?
Yeah, so what I described is the so-called blocks. I call that the extension of our own technology that we developed. And those blocks, they have about this size here, and we have one smaller one. It's called the travel block. It's maybe this size. And people put that in their home just for the benefit of harmonizing the whole space in regards to EMF, which, by the way, has been verified by multiple randomized placebo-controlled double-blind and single-blind studies. So I'm not just talking. We have actual backup, a lot of scientific backup, frankly. And so that's one application. The other application is they can charge foods and water. You can structure water visibly and very fast with the device. That's another application. Then you can copy frequencies. So if you wanted to, make your own quantum frequency medicine, you could do that with the device. Let's say you take a piece of a healing plant and then you put it in this block together with a silver coin. Then you could transfer the frequency of the healing plant into the silver coin. So, and then you can leverage the frequencies. That's another application. The next application is that you can just put your hands in there, for example, or your feet, or frankly your head, no matter what, and you get a much stronger benefit. So your blood improves. That has been shown in 100% of the cases to be the case. We're talking red blood cells as well as white blood cell activity and motility that increases. Even stage 1 and stage 2 of blood clotting was able to reverse in all cases in those studies within just 10 minutes. So that's quite significant. If you are in, if you have your hands in there or you're relatively close to the field, it also increases ATP production in the human cells. There was also a randomized double-blind study that was done to show actually an increase of 20 to 25% is possible, which is big. Anyone that knows about ATP production will say that is quite huge, and it happens almost instant without having to take in any substances. So that's the blocks. And then we create several other products as well that you can wear, like a capsule. You see a lot of people nowadays running around with these brass capsules. They look like golden capsules that's specifically charged with frequencies that are beneficial for the human body and include almost 80 vitamins and minerals in frequency form that are good for the human body. And also frequency cards and some other products as well that, are lifestyle products, if you will.
So Philip, in terms of how long somebody needs to be in that blog area, or how long they need to wear these to have these kinds of benefits, is there a time frame, or is there a certain minimum requirements, or how many days before people notice a change?
So you can measure the effects very quickly. So indeed, we're talking minutes here. So within 5 minutes, you can already see changes in the blood. And after 10 minutes, you see significant changes, sometimes even already after 5 minutes. Heart rate variability also can be measured relatively quickly to optimize, also within minutes. The effect is even greater when you use it for longer periods of times. It depends actually on the individual. So our technology doesn't work like a Samsung TV where you can have just a manual. You say you press this button and this is exactly, how it works, because it really, everyone is so unique. Everyone has their own traumas that they have, their own history, their own physical health and mental state. And some people have already done consciousness and energy work. I don't know, maybe they're a yoga instructor and they do a lot of meditation. So then they are pretty tuned in already and they work with this type of energy. If you have another extreme, maybe where someone lives a completely unhealthy life, has eaten mainly McDonald's for the last 3 years and has never done any consciousness or energy work, then they cannot tolerate to have their hands in the blog for too long. Relatively quickly, they would start detox effects, because that's another thing that starts, because it really helps us to come into the full potential and into optimal balance. And so it cannot be said. We have guidelines, and for objects, it's way easier. For metals or for water and groceries, we can say, okay, these are the optimal charging times, and those can all be found on the website. For oneself, it's really, we give some guidance, but then it's up to you to feel, because you will actually feel when it's too much. If someone is not tuned in at all and they can't really feel well, then they will still feel it at some point, maybe 2 minutes too late, because when detox effects start, it is an uncomfortable feeling. That's not a bad thing though. You just have to drink a lot more water and then just take your hand out of the device.
So once you start not feeling good, you back off and drink water and then start again the next day?
Yeah, or even earlier. It really depends. So, there's a lot of people that use it many times throughout the day. But also, let's not forget, if you have this blog sitting at home, you are already in the field. So you already have the benefit. It's just that inside the plates, the field is way stronger, meaning that the effect is way greater. So that's just the difference. So you can see we have done these placebo-controlled double-blind studies where the block is just in the room. So first was the before test, then they turned on Wi-Fi to see what is the impact on the blood with Wi-Fi, and then they left Wi-Fi on and put our device just somewhere near, maybe, I don't know, 20 yards away, 10 yards away. And then you see that it neutralizes all these negative impacts that EMF has on the blood just by it sitting there in proximity. However, the effect is greater and a little faster if you literally put your hands in there. So that's just the difference.
This is so fascinating. Thank you for joining us today, Philip. We look forward to learning more about this at the Changing Life and Destiny conference this coming April in Dallas. I want to thank you for joining us. Thank you for all the information. Hope to see you at the conference.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for organizing this amazing event.
Goodbye.